Over the last 12 months, I've failed more platinum trophies than I have in my whole time trophy hunting, which is weird for me. So it's time for some self-reflection as I tell you how I'm feeling and why I failed all these games, and the fact that I failed some of these games is borderline a gaming war crime. So I've started and played about 40 games over the last 12 months. So I had a little bit of a look and I've actually failed 17 of them. A couple of them are still ongoing, but the majority I have actually just left and abandoned, which is really weird for me since I was so obsessed with completion percentage for a long time. I actually didn't know what my completion percentage was about 12 months ago, so I had to watch one of my good old videos from about 3-4 months ago and I broke this down. Over time, my completion percentage, which was a high 99%, has just slowly dwindled and I'm sitting around a cool 97.38%. Yeah, I really don't care about completion percentage anymore in terms of an overall count. It's just not for me. It seems like more of a burden than anything. To be fair, I agree with this still. So even since that video 3 months ago, my percentage has actually dropped again from 97.38 to 96.38, exactly 1%. So actually my completion percentage for this year is just teetering over 50%. It's just the fact that I played a lot of really great and really hard platinum trophies, hundreds of them, which is what props up my completion percentage right now. So I've had a little look at the games that I've left and failed, and I actually feel like shame for the fact that the first game in September of last year that I've actually not went back to finish is the original Final Fantasy VII.
But you can't do this to me. I started this company. You know how much I sacrificed?
I left that one for a few reasons. It's nothing actually to do with the quality of the game, because with all the new features such as fast forward and settings you can modify to make it a lot easier just to get through it and experience a story, it's not actually that bad of a platinum. It's like 30-40 hours, but I was live streaming it and there's a missable trophy and it's all based on decision making and it's tied to literally what you've got to say to certain characters. And what happened was, because I'm an idiot, and firstly I'm an idiot because I thought it would be a good idea to stream this, and secondly I'm an idiot because I can't follow a basic text guide. I actually got an hour and a half in and realized that I'd clicked the wrong subtitle, which was not a great start. But as I kept going through it, I just found it so hard because referring to guides so you don't miss a trophy is just grim and realistically I should have just left it, got the platinum and then went back and done it that way. But I think this one's an example of how certain trophy lists can massively sour games, because I don't want to necessarily do 2 playthroughs of a game when all you've got to do is just spend an hour or 2 following the guide in the first 2-3 hours of the game. But at the same time, it does kind of take away from the quality of the game. So I got about 5 hours into the game, basically in this big tower and you meet this little mutant animal thing. If you've played Final Fantasy VII, you know what he's called. I can't remember off the top of my head. If you know, let me know. And I actually was enjoying the story that was building up, but I had a few other games going on and I have no excuse. I really shouldn't have left this one. This is one that's actually like hitting me. I'm sorry for those Final Fantasy fans. I owe it to you to at least get this platinum trophy. I think it just brings out this bigger issue, which we'll talk about as the video goes on, about the fact that I've just not enjoyed single player games as much, and I've really been gravitating towards multiplayer games where you're playing with someone, and I just like the banter. I like the back and forth with people, and it just keeps me concentrated on what's going on. I find that I've got such a scatterbrain that if I'm left to my own devices to do anything, if that 1 second of boredom creeps in, I'm like looking at the internet, on my phone, and it takes me so long to actually get through single player games now. Even Space Marine now, which I love, I've done a lot of the multiplayer stuff, I've done loads with friends, but then when it's come to single player, I'm actually only halfway through the actual story, and I find that whenever I come to actually doing it, even though the game's fantastic, I still find this like niggle of like distractibility that's like pulling me away. It's definitely a me problem, but anyway, speaking of multiplayer games, War Thunder! War Thunder is a multiplayer vehicle military combat game available for free on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. There is over 2,500 customizable vehicles including tanks, helicopters, ships and planes. This is like the easiest flying mechanics I've ever played, and I've still flown into the floor. Which is definitely something to teach you in Cadet School 101 is just watch out for the floor, because it's you're gonna die. Join 70 million players in sweaty sea, ground and air fights. The vehicles are incredibly detailed, but it also allows for a massive amount of customization, which means you can stand out with your own designed vehicle alongside your incredible gaming skill. During the combat, Warhammer features an X-ray view which allows for you to see exactly what is happening. You are able to see precisely where the shells penetrate and how it affects the components of the vehicle struck and the devastation you cause. That guy isn't coming home, is he? He's not coming home. By using my link in the pinned comment, new and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across all platforms that includes premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator, the Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days of premium account. The bonus is limited, so it's first come first serve. I had fun with it, so go check it out. So then in October I platinumed Spider-Man 2, which I loved massively, and I think it's a big improvement on Spider-Man 1. Do I think they need to spend an extra 100 million making the game? No. A lot of that additional money was clearly spent on those bike riding scenes, which clearly were the best part of the game, weren't they? I was lucky enough to play Metal Gear for the very first time, thanks to Konami reaching out to me and giving me a code early access. There we go. Oh, that's how you kill them. Oh, he's still alive. Oh my god. God damn, son of a gun. And that game was just sensational. I actually had to do so many extra playthroughs to get the platinum. That platinum trophy, it's difficult, Metal Gear Solid 1 platinum trophy on PS5, but it's a good level of difficulty. You've got to really learn the game, you've got to not master it, but you've got to have a good knowledge for the speedrun trophies. And then we came on to my next platinum trophy failure, which was only a couple of days later, Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, it was meant to be a smaller story, more contained, and I just played about 5 hours and was like, it's just an Assassin's Creed game, isn't it? Everything about it's just all pretty good. I just can't deal with the open world platinum trophies anymore. Like, I've just got this extreme amount of fatigue towards them, which has just been built ever since like 2013, just getting worse and worse and worse. And Ghost of Tsushima was one of the peak moments for me when I was really struggling. And then now coming back to these sort of games, I just don't have it in me. I just look at these collectible guides, I look at all the miscellaneous missions that aren't particularly fun, and they're just very added on. And I'm just kind of like, pass. I guess it comes down to the fact that you shouldn't feel compelled to platinum every single game you play, because if you're not enjoying a game and you're forcing yourself through it, through these additional objectives and blah blah, miscellaneous grunt work, if you're not really enjoying the game, it just kind of sours the experience. And I've been collecting achievements and trophies since like 2009, and I think maybe the years of forcing myself through things I didn't particularly enjoy, even when I had more free time, was difficult. But now when I have less free time because, of adult things, those adult things that are always there. Who remembers to put the bin out every week? Because I don't. Apparently that's an impossible task for me. As I reached that end of last year, I think more and more grunt work in games that my heart wasn't really in, I just wasn't able to finish them, and this becomes more clear as we keep going down the list. So next was Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth. I actually got the platinum, but I didn't do the DLC. And the platinum trophy, it was a good 35 hours. I've already beaten the game on Xbox back in the day, and I think I got like nearly all the achievements, and it was still really fun going back and doing it. I was just like, do I really want to spend another 30 hours doing the DLC when the game itself is 40 hours? And I was like, no, I've done the DLC before as well. I played it on Xbox, and I just didn't want to spend 25 hours doing it again. That doesn't take away from the fact this one actually is excellent. Platinum trophy for Shadow of War probably is in the horizon for me at some point, because Lord of the Rings is just badass. So I've got a video on Anthem. I actually somehow got through that one. I played that with Vaultboy Steve and Guy Frisky, and we played the first 30 hours together, the next 20-30 hours solo, all the grind. That was a real push, but I think because I was making a video on that one, that kind of compelled me to go for it a bit more. But this whole thing of grinding out things, grinding out trophies for videos when you're not enjoying them, started here, I would say. This is the start point. This is when the icing... No, what was an analogy? This is like the first straw on Plat Bro's back. Not enough to break it, but it was like the first straw, which was starting to feel pretty darn heavy. I'm gonna tell you, I was pretty exhausted after Anthem. I was, just in a spiral of... Goddamn, it was just too much time with that Guy Frisky and Vaultboy Steve, that's what it was. God, hey, I spoke those guys for longer than like 2 hours. It makes you just want to blow your brains out, I'm not gonna lie. So at the turn of the year, I really want to get an impressive platinum trophy, something that was like ultra rare, make a great video on it. So I thought Predator Hunting Ground would be a really good idea, and the game itself actually is interesting. It's a really good principle. You've got 4 players who play as the Marines, and they have objectives that you have to complete in the game, which is like, clear camps, things like that. And then you have the 5th character who is the Predator, and their objective is just to stop them and kill them. Oh, he's there! Oh, he's there! Save behind you, save behind you! Oh, he's not there anymore.
Drop that, I'm gone! Oh shit, I'm down, but I can like...
I've got you, bro.
Oh, my man.
Dude, we're getting like, there's so many enemies here.
Oh shit.
Oh, he's got me now.
You got me. Ah shit, he got me quick.
How much fucking health does he have?
it creates this really good PvP VE situation, and it's actually really fun. But Platinum Trophy is pretty grim, I'm not gonna lie. If you would do it authentically by yourself, you're looking, I can't even imagine how many hours, 300, 400. It's like getting total kills with certain weapons. And there's one of the trophies for like running like 50k as the Predator across trees, which is like crazy when you think how small the maps are. We were at a point where I was like, okay, I've done 20 hours naturally, I've got 20% of the trophies, and then we spent 20 hours just grinding out online. So you go into private servers to boost the trophies, you know, take turns killing each other, all that other stuff. There was about 5 or 6 of us working towards it, and I think only one person got the Platinum Trophy because everyone was like, this is so not worth it. And it really wasn't. And if you've actually done a long boosting session with someone working towards trophies, you know that you've only got a couple in your whole gaming life. And I managed Resident Evil 6, Mountain Blade Warband, Mortal, Chivalry 2, which had a little bit in, and then I just didn't have another 200-hour boosting session in me, because you just feel like you're wasting your time. You just sit there and you think, there's no way trophies are worth this when you could be doing so much in that time. So that was another dud, like, so many duds. I did go back and do the DLC for Watch Dogs Legion though, which was really challenging and really fun.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Oh no! He was the best one. He had so many guns.
I've had very mixed opinions on DLC trophies, I have to say. There's probably videos of me somewhere being like, God damn, I hate DLC trophies, they shouldn't be a thing, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of people who think that as well in the YouTube comments. I'm sure you may have this opinion, but I've actually kind of changed my mind on DLC trophies, and I kind of like them. And in a sense of, as someone who I've changed my opinion slightly, whereas I look at the trophy list and I think, the game's actually got to be worth the Platinum. The Platinum trophy's got to be worth my time. Not the other way around. I'm not going to slog and waste my time for a Platinum Trophy on every single game anymore. And that brings me on to DLC trophies, where I think that if you love a game and there's DLC, then you should be given the opportunity to earn more trophies in that game. Yes, it's not for everyone, but the DLC list is completely different to the trophy list. And that means that you can revisit it. And I suppose the question was like Spider-Man 2, which had the New Game Plus. I still haven't done that yet. I might revisit it. I did love the game, but there's just so many good games coming out, right? And for one trophy, you look at your backlog and you're like, I've got like 50 games here that like, I haven't even played, so am I going to go back to a game that I wouldn't have went back to just for one single trophy? A lot of people will, and I would have, but now I'm just like, if the time feels right, I'll go for it. So this year for Plat Bros, our YouTube channel, has been like this weird relationship with Ubisoft, because they've proved me to be like one of the content creator dudes. So this allowed me to get quite a few Ubisoft games early, and it also allowed for me to get a lot of game codes for games I've actually never played, like Avatar. Which might be funny for the lols, but it's essentially just Blue Far Cry. So one of the first codes I got was actually Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and although I did enjoy this game, it's a good old school side-scrolling platform game. I actually can't really knock the game. If it was just a game without the Prince of Persia tag on it, no one would buy it, obviously. But it does have the Prince of Persia logo on it, but it's not a Prince of Persia game, so not many people bought it either. It's pretty good. Again, like, I ain't really into those side-scrolling platformers, you know? Like, I know a lot of people absolutely get a chub on over side-scrolling platformers, but I don't. That game's actually on 1%. See, there's reasons why I've left so many games. I'm saying this all now to you, and I'm like, I'm feeling like I can justify pretty much every game that I didn't finish other than Final Fantasy VII. So then I went on and did Helldivers 1 and 2, and I got the Platinum Trophy in both of them, but I didn't do the DLC. If you've watched my video on Helldivers 1 and 2, it is one of my favorite videos, probably the best video I've done still.
Prove to yourself that you have the strength and the courage to be free.
Join the Helldivers.
Become part of an elite peacekeeping force
And spread managed democracy throughout the galaxy. Become a hero. Become a legend. Become a Helldiver.
By the time I'd done those games, I'd spent about 200 hours on the games. Helldivers 1 it's pretty challenging. It's very different to Helldivers 2, and it is so much harder. And I looked at some of the DLC trophies, and a lot of them you really can't do by yourself. And considering even then, before the Helldivers 2 came out, there was only like 100 people playing the game, 200 people maybe. I was like, these DLC trophies just aren't going to happen without absolutely sweating it and trying to recruit people who I'd already asked a lot from the people playing Helldivers with me. We'd done a lot of stuff. We'd stayed up to like 3-4 a.m. so many times across multiple time zones to get some of these trophies, to get the grind out of the way. So Helldivers 2 was coming out, and I just wanted to move on to Helldivers 2, which is still One of the best games I've played, I would say. Definitely up there for Game of the Year for me. I think it's tying between this and Space Marine, I think, at the moment. And then I went on to platinum all the Tekken games, which was every single Tekken game on PlayStation with trophies. So Tekken 6, Tekken 7, Tekken 8, Tekken Tag 2, Tekken Tag 2 Prologue. They were all the mainline Tekken games, or all the Tekken games. And then there was the game that I left for the video. So I have a video on this as well, which was like an hour and 20 minutes long. Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I had to leave this game. This game was like I just hated it. I did Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and it was like, it almost broke me at the beginning of like 2023. Like, honestly, I can't even put into words how much it broke me. Like, I had times where I was just sitting at the desk and I was just like pondering life, like being like, this can't be worth it. And then it made me hate fighting games, essentially. And it wasn't that I hate fighting games, it's that I hate Street Fighter. That is sadly the truth. I just don't like the fighting mechanics. I don't like the controls. They're really unintuitive. They're built without a doubt for a joystick, and they don't really translate over to controller at all. Whereas Tekken, I played on a normal controller, I played on a joystick, and I played on a Hori fighting controller, and it worked on all of them. Definitely the easiest on the fighting controller though, without a doubt. And I literally was playing it and I was like, this is so hard. Like, I'd already played 6 Tekken games. Some of them I'd struggled with, but this one was like on a level that I just couldn't even comprehend at the time. I couldn't even beat the arcade mode on medium after about 3 hours, and I was like, this is mad to think that I can't beat this on medium, but I've got to beat this on the hardest difficulty, and I've got to do challenges which are basically the hardest difficulty times 2 or 3. I was like, I don't think I even have the ability to do it, let alone the fact that there was like this monstrous online grind as well, like literally like using your special abilities like 500 times, and you can only use it 1 or 2 times per fight. So it was just like this monstrous task. It would be a cool platinum trophy to have because of how difficult it is, but I just looked at it and I was just like, nah.
I do not like this game at all.
6 months later, my opinion still hasn't changed on this one. I'm looking at my list and I'm just like, there's so many failed games on here, it's so bad. I got the Platinum Fallout 76, didn't do a DLC. Once again, Platinum Trophy was too much. Fallout 76 is pretty good actually. It's just the fact that the Platinum Trophy is pretty horrific, and you have to play the game in its base form. Whereas now all the DLC stuff with all the modernization of it is actually a pretty good online Fallout game. But it's the fact for the Platinum you have to go back and do all the original content that got so heavily slated at launch. But I actually would go back and do a DLC, but playing Fallout 76 just gave me the itching to play Fallout 4. So I went back and played Fallout 4, but I actually again didn't finish that. That one was different because I spent a lot of time making my Fallout 76 video, which is another great video. I really think it's great. I went outside. I actually bought this microphone for that video, and it underperformed, and that really made me hesitant to spend 100 hours, 150 hours playing Fallout 4 when Fallout 76 did so bad. So that was when YouTube started to come in and really influenced the platinum trophies I wanted to earn. Going back to the Anthem reference, I think actually Fallout 76 was like the second, but the final straw that broke good old Plat Bro's back. I spent so much time on that game, and the last 20-30 hours were absolutely brutal, and I did it for a video which then underperformed, and it had created this it kind of created this cyclical pattern of like, if I didn't have fun doing a platinum trophy and then I made a video on it which I had fun making but then underperformed, it had like 2 negative sides of it. So it was like reinforcing the negative attitude I had towards certain platinum trophies. I don't think anyone making videos around trophy hunting and platinum trophies kind of has mentioned the fact that sometimes when you actually go for platinums to make videos, you've got like this double reward on the go. So if you were to play a game and get a platinum trophy and you don't make videos or content, no, the platinum trophy is essentially the reward, okay? So you're like, right, I got the platinum, pat on the back, well done boyo, on to the next one. Whereas if you then make video on it and then the video does well, it's like double rewards. Like, I had a great time getting the platinum and the video did well. Slay. The flip side is I hated getting that platinum and the video underperformed. Absolute double whopper, that one. So my next one was Tunic, and this one is like the worst platinum trophy fail because the game's not long, all right? I yourself wandered around just about 15 hours with a guide, probably 5 or 6. I spent about 7 hours playing the game, and then I was like, I'm gonna just look at the guide, see if I have missed anything. And because I'd looked at the guide too late, I kind of had to finish the game. And there's these collectibles called like effigies, and you have to hold 10 of them at once. And I'm actually at 98% with Tunic because I had to collect like 1 more effigy. And I was looking at it, I beat the game, I had a pretty good time with the game. I captured so much footage. I was gonna make a video on it, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to go through the entire game with a guide open, which is the guide itself was 2.5 hours long. I am not playing this entire game again to find one collectible when I have no idea it could be the first or the last. I left it. I left it, it's at 98%, and I just think that's crazy. Like, to think I'm like an hour away, maybe 20 minutes to maybe 3 hours away from getting a platinum trophy, and I left it. I think that just kind of really says how I'm feeling. Whereas if I look at a trophy list, look at a platinum, and as soon as it clicks in my head that the platinum trophy is not worth going for anymore, I just can't go and do it. I'm like, nah, stubborn. Nah, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. No one's gonna make me, unless you make me. I'm easily swayed by others. Sometimes. Depends. So I actually haven't earned a platinum trophy since Fallout 76 in May. So we're looking at like 4 months. Yeah. Quick maths, bro. And I've literally went on a kind of like abandonment spree. Like, if I was a parent, I would be like just like the top abandoner. I played Arc Runner, which was a really cool little game. I played with my friend Spedgy and my friend Fagger. And I was like, you guys play this game with me. We'll have some fun. Spedgy played it and then got the platinum in like 10 hours because it's not long. And me and Fagger played it for like 4 hours, then we just never played it ever again, and we just never spoke about it ever again. We just like played it. I'm like, this is really fun. Yeah, do you want to play again tomorrow? Tomorrow came around, no message. We didn't message each other. I didn't message him. He didn't message me. Never played the game ever again, and it just remained. It remained. And then I went on to My Hero Rumble. And my god, this game is like something I've never really seen before. This is like a free-to-play battle royale, but My Hero characters. You know, I love My Hero. You know, I'm rocking them tats. The monetization in this is staggering. Is actually staggering. And the trophy list is one of those trophy lists where it's built purely to keep people playing it. It's like, you know, we're probably going to get 5% of our gamers who are trophy hunters who are going to care about the trophy list. So let's make that trophy list the worst they've ever played. So it like makes them play the game for an extra 200, 300, 400 hours. I didn't want to platinum this one. I knew I wouldn't. I looked at the trophy list and I was like, it's not even a platinum. It's just a 15 trophies. I was like, that ain't happening. But the monetization is ridiculous. There's like literally 20 characters, and every character you're looking at like £25 to get, because you can't buy them. You got to roll chests. You know, a good old bit of loot crate action, loot boxes on the go, a bit of gotcha mechanics, like excessive gotcha mechanics, basically, which are basically gambling. And then we moved on to Smite, which I've made a video on, and I haven't planned this one, not out of trying. Not out of trying. Not out of lack of effort, I'll tell you that. It was my first ever MOBA, and I was like, yeah, sign me up for this shit. This stuff is addictive, life-consuming, and I totally get why the average Smite player looks like they haven't seen sunlight in 3 months, because they probably haven't. But the Platinum Trophy list is pretty disgustingly hard. It's the hardest game I've ever played. There's no question about it. It makes every game I've ever played before it look like a piece of piss. And that includes games like Bloodborne, Crash Bandicoot, Elden Ring, all the single player difficult games, which are difficult. They essentially boil down to just movement mechanics and memory, learning how to do certain things at certain times, whereas games which are online, you can't learn movement patterns because it's all dynamic and it's all constantly changing. Will I ever get Smite Platinum? I don't know, probably not, because Smite 2 is out now and I've been playing a lot more Smite 2. Alright, the next two games I'm going to quickly rattle through, which are Remnant 2 and Space Marine. I played them both and I'm looking to get the Platinum Trophy in both of them. They are just ongoing, so they don't really count. And then the Star Wars Outlaws, which I made a video on, that I think was worth the platinum. At the time I was leaning towards yes, I think, if you like Star Wars, but now I'm not that sure. It's essentially Assassin's Creed in space. It's interesting because I'm not sure if there is an Assassin's Creed game out this year. I can't remember. Can't say I follow it. But there's already been an Assassin's Creed game and a Far Cry game this year, which was Avatar and Star Wars Outlaws. These games are like staple copies of the formulas that they've used for Assassin's Creed. Star Wars Outlaws, the amount of lore in it, the worlds they've built is fantastic. It's just the fact that once that kind of wears off, you're just stuck doing fetch quests. I don't know if I'm going to go back and do Outlaws. I don't know if I've got it in this. I've probably got another 10 hours in this to at least beat the story, but right now, nah. Again, it goes back to the whole single player thing where like whenever I play a single player game for longer than 2 hours, I just kind of drop off completely, especially if it game's got you going to talk to some dude to then drive somewhere else to steal something to then drive back to him, because it has the worst fast travel points I've ever seen. It really wants you to drive around, and I get the world's pretty beautiful, but when you're driving 5 minutes to do 2 minutes then drive back 5 minutes, you're like, I've literally just done grunt work, kind of like you've just went to the post office to send a parcel, but you've done it in a game. So like I think I've just become really brutal with these single player games where I'm just like, yeah, I ain't vibing. This has probably been quite a long video, so if you're still watching, thank you very much. I just felt like I had to share this with you because I think there's just so much Platinum Trophy hunting content at the moment, and everyone's pushing themselves through all these brutal things. You can respect the grind, the hustle, but then there will come a point where you're like, yeah, you're just gonna get yourself burned out, and that's basically what's happened for me. I've done too many open world grinds, I've done too many boosting sessions. I am just an old bitter man, apparently. I hit 30 and crikey, not only did my back start hurting, apparently my just love of everything just started to wither away as well, but you know, hey ho. God damn.
The
quick thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to play for free on PlayStation, Xbox and PC, and make sure to use my link in the pinned comments to receive that free bonus pack if you're a new player or haven't played in 6 months. Just remember that you aren't supposed to fly into the ground. War Thunder!